This video shows how you can add index fields to an InfoInput job to receive the content coming back from Microsoft when it's reading an invoice. The first thing we'll do is we'll go into our job setup, and then we'll go into our invoice job. And if we look at the workflow and we go on one of the intelligent OCR steps, we can see we are using Microsoft Form Recognizer for invoices. And these are the mappings of the field. So this is the field coming back from Microsoft and the target field in InfoInput. If we add one, we can see we have a whole list of fields that have been returned by Microsoft. And for instance, we have fields like vendor address. But if I look in here, we don't have vendor address in our list of InfoInput fields. So we're going to actually add two fields. We're going to add vendor address and tax rate, which is a table field. So if we come into our document class, so we clicked on indexing and export, we've gone into document classes, and then we'll open our document class. You can see under index fields, you can see the list of fields that we have to are using in InfoInput, and we want to add our two fields. So we can say insert, we'll call this vendor address. We can type in something more user-friendly in the display, and we'll insert our tax rate and put that in here. Okay, we then need to change our field type. So we'll select one that will definitely receive the content that we are receiving. So we'll select a field type that has enough characters to accept an address, and the tax rate we'll select as a double. If the field type doesn't exist, you can click on field types and add a new one. So we've added our two fields, but tax rate is a table field. So to get it into the table, we have our table here, and these are the fields currently in our table. So what we want to do is click on line items and say edit table. And then we will select our tax rate, copy it across, so it now appears in this column. Say OK, and we now see tax rate is a field within line items. As part of our indexing, we are using an advanced form. So if I click on advanced form, we can see that it's set to yes. So we're using an advanced form. So I can just double click. And then on the left, I can see the fields that haven't been added yet. So I can just add my vendor address to the advanced form so that the content appears on the screen. If we look at the line items, we can see that tax rate is already added. And we can just click OK, click Save, close the document classes, and then we can go back to the workflow, back to our intelligent OCR step, and we can now add, and we can select our tax rate, which is this field. So Azure is returning this as a table field, and we can map that across to the tax rate field that we've just added to InfoInput. And then we can add our vendor address, which is coming back from Microsoft, to our vendor address field, which we've just added. We then say OK, and we click Save. And then we have to remember to publish the job. And that is how you add an index field to your client, to your job, to receive a value coming back from Microsoft when it reads an invoice.